to For the Meeple, by the Meeple. As always, I'm Mike Carpenter, and today we're going to be taking a look at Age of War. Age of War is a small filler dice game for 2 to 6 players in which players are going to be trying to conquer clans in feudal Japan. Sounds interesting, but let's take a look. Age of War has 2 components. There are 14 castle cards, divided into 6 colors, representing which clan the card belongs to. There are also 7 identical custom dice. The sides on these dice are 1, 2, and 3 swords, a bow and arrow, a soldier on horseback, and a daimyo symbol. Age of War is a Yahtzee variant, meaning players are going to be rolling dice, keeping certain dice, and then re-rolling those they choose not to use. In a normal setup of Age of War, all 14 castle cards will be available to all players to start the game. However, in this example, we're only going to be looking at 2 of the castle cards. Each castle card is going to have between 1 and 4 battle lines. These battle lines are represented by different locations on the card. In this case, we have a top battle line of 1 daimyo symbol, a middle battle line of a horse and a bow and arrow, and then a bottom battle line of just swords. A player can use any number of dice they wish to complete a battle line of swords. However, the number has to equal exactly the number required. So you could not roll 7 dice and place them on a battle line of 6. On a player's turn, they're going to be rolling all 7 dice and comparing those dice or the symbols rolled to the symbols on the cards that are available on the table. In this case, since I have not rolled any daimyos, I cannot fulfill this battle line. I do have the horse, but I would also need a bow and arrow to complete this battle line. So I cannot place just 1 on this battle line. Now, I did roll several swords, so I could complete the 6 swords required for this battle line. I would want to use as few dice as possible to complete this battle line, so I would place the 6 swords on the card. If a player is able to complete a battle line, they are going to re-roll all dice that were not used. If a player is not able to complete a battle line, they are going to remove 1 of the dice from the roll and re-roll all remaining dice. So in this case, we will get to re-roll all 5 remaining dice. And we'll check the symbols rolled. Once I start on this card, I have to stay on this card for the remainder of this turn. So I do have a daimyo, and I can complete this battle line. So now I am down to a bow and arrow and a horse. Since I was able to complete the battle line, I will re-roll all 4 and check my symbols. And I was not able to complete the middle battle line, so I will take 1 dice out and roll again. This time I was able to complete the battle line of a horse and a bow and arrow, so I would complete all the battle lines on the right side of this card, and I would take it in front of my player area. When a player takes a card and places it in front of them, they score the number of points on the left side of the card. However, these points are only temporary at first because other players are able to steal these cards from each other. To steal a card from the player attempting to steal does not only have to complete all the original battle lines, but they also need to complete an additional battle line that is completely separate from those on the right side. This battle line is always 1 daimyo. So if a player were to try to steal this card, they would need 1, 2, 3, and 4. If a player is ever able to get all cards in a clan, they would take those cards and flip them over. When a player is able to complete an entire clan, they are going to receive more points on the back of these cards than the front of the cards scored combined. So for this particular clan, you would get 7 points for these 2 cards, but since there are only 2 cards in the clan, you would flip them over and receive 8 points at the end of the game. Cards that are flipped over may not be stolen by other players. Players are going to play until all 14 cards are removed from the center of the table. Once that is done, players are going to count the points accumulated for the cards they have achieved, whether they are from complete clans or from individual cards from different clans. The player with the most points at the end of the game is the winner.
As you can see, Age of War is nothing truly special. It's a Yahtzee variant that adds its own twist on how you're going to use the dice you roll. And it's that exact twist that has me torn down the middle on this game. On one hand, I like the game because it offers a lot of fun and chances for people to cheer for a roll or cheer against a player to not roll what they need to finish off the final line on a castle card. But the game can overstay its welcome. One, because it's very difficult to roll or to complete some of the battle lines on the castle cards. And two, the game has a built-in prolonging mechanic in the fact that I can steal a card from an opponent, which does nothing to move the game along. It just simply adjusts the score. So at times you could have 2 or 3 players trying to steal cards constantly and failing or succeeding. It's really irrelevant in terms of how much time it's going to add to the game. But then you have one player that's trying to get more points out of the middle of the table and failing to do that. So the combination of the difficulty in completing the castle cards and the way the players can just prolong the game as long as they can kind of hurt the game because it just drags on sometimes. Now that's not every game, and that's not always the case, because there are ways to, as those players are trying to steal the cards, the other players that are doing well or just continuing the process of trying to get more cards are typically completing clans and locking them in. The game will end. It's not going to go on forever. But especially in games that the players are not, just happen to not be rolling all that well or not making good decisions, the game can kind of drag on. Again, that's not every time. So I have played plenty of games where I've really enjoyed this. I've just also had some where you're just rolling poorly and the game turns, if you don't take that well, the game turns into a nightmare. And I've seen people get very frustrated with this game, especially little kids if they're rolling poorly, or just very serious game players that take winning very seriously. So you have some problems with the game, but overall I would say this is fun. And if you like dice games and you're looking for a dice game filler, this is probably one to consider. It's very cheap, so if you don't have an opportunity to try it beforehand, you could probably get away with purchasing it. But as always, I would try before I buy, and I would suggest giving this one a try, honestly. So thanks again for watching, as always, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks.